Do you remember getting excited the night before holidays like Easter when you were a kid? Going to bed knowing that in the morning there could be some fun and some treats in store for you? Well, today we're talking about 3 reasons why I believe business is like the Easter Bunny. Welcome, everyone. My name is Young Pratt. I am the chief dreamer at Our Young Creators and the creator of the In a Weekend series of classes, where we help people to simplify, to automate, and to leverage the often hidden assets, like your kids, in your business and life quickly. So let's dive in, shall we? How is business like the Easter Bunny? Number 1, sometimes even the craziest ideas can become the most popular. Whoever would have guessed that a bunny delivering eggs that are decorated would become popular? Yet here we are, and every year we celebrate and commemorate the Easter Bunny and have all sorts of fun and traditions involved around that. So sometimes it's those craziest of thoughts or ideas that we have that we sometimes filter. I know I am very guilty of that, thinking about what other people might think if you do XYZ or you say XYZ. Let me give you an example of this. Back in the early days of my performing arts studio, I had this idea for a dance that was performed underneath a huge piece of fabric. And now you may be thinking, okay, what does this have to do with our conversation today? And it's this. It's about, I had a crazy idea. I stopped myself from moving forward because I just thought maybe parents would be upset that their kids had been coming to classes and paying for them, and when they show up to see them perform on stage, they wouldn't even see their kids' faces. So for a lot of years, I kept this idea hidden inside. When finally I just was so excited about creating this piece and watching it come to life that I made it happen. I went in search of some fabric. We had to make a couple of trips out of town to find it because the fabric had to be sort of sheer, definitely stretchy, and it had to be big enough to cover an entire stage. And so we made this fabric and put it together, and then I started working on an entire dance. Now, this dance was choreographed, it was set to music, and the whole thing happened underneath this sheet. And as you can imagine, there were lots of really interesting things visually that were happening when the fabric gets stretched or when we build tall shapes underneath. It was a really cool effect. And I remember distinctly after the show walking out into the audience, congratulating my dancers and chatting with parents. And I got so many compliments about this piece, about how interesting it was and how many people had emotional responses to this piece that I thought was kind of crazy. And I, for years, held that back. But it's those crazy risk-taking things in business that often produce the best results for us. So if you have an idea that you think is far-fetched, or you think, I don't know how people are going to respond, all you can do is try it. Jump in with both feet, see how it goes, see what the response is, and move on. And maybe those ideas will be well received, and maybe they won't. At least you'll have tried them and know now what will become of taking some risks and jumping into some crazy ideas. All right, number 2. In our business, we often have to approach things with a childlike sense of wonder and a huge belief in ourselves and in our abilities, even when things haven't happened yet. Let's take, for example, you are launching something new. It could be a podcast, it could be a new book, maybe a new webinar series, and you haven't done it before. You can see yourself, though, doing it and really being able to feel what that would feel like after the fact. That sense of wonder and belief in things that haven't even come true yet, that aren't really real, but we can actually make real for ourselves. It's kind of like our belief has to be so strong that things like the Easter Bunny can seem real, even though we're looking at things that might happen in the future. So that's number two, the second reason why I believe business is like the Easter Bunny. And number three is the Easter Bunny's visit is always cause for celebration, and that celebration happens year after year. So it is a repeatable event, a repeatable celebration. I want to unpack this a little bit because the celebration part is a really big deal. I know I am super guilty of this, and if you've ever done this, put me in the comments below. As business owners, we often set goals for ourselves, we accomplish them, and once we do that, we might jump up and down or get excited inside, but we don't really actually celebrate the big thing that we just did. We're just looking so far down the road that we forget to celebrate even those small wins, the wins that we have every single day that taken step by step get us to those bigger goals. So first of all, I would encourage you to celebrate your wins every day. When you're laying in bed getting ready for sleep, I want you to think about all the wins you had in the day. I know lots of people have the bedtime routine of writing down things that you're grateful for. And some of those things could be the wins you have every day. So be sure to celebrate. And the second part of this is the repeatable part. I know as a creative, my desire is to always be creating something new and something new again and again and again. And I sometimes can forget or neglect what I've created before. And having an event or a celebration in your business that repeats on a regular cycle, whether it's yearly or monthly or weekly, is actually a good thing to have that rhythm and that system that repeats over and over and over again. It's a reminder that we don't have to always reinvent the wheel. If we create a great event in our business and it was well received and people were excited about it, and maybe our clients have a lot of successes. If it's successful once, why not do it again and again and again? Because likely each time it's going to get better and better. Just kind of like when we were raising our babies and the first Easter, we may go overboard and get a lot of things for our kids. And over the years, we find a nice balance, but really the routine and the system of we're going to color the eggs on this day, we're going to buy the baskets on this day, we're going to hide the eggs on this day, all of those things become part of the regular cycle or the rhythm of life, where we know they're predictable, we know they're going to happen, and we can then celebrate. So there you have it. I would love to know if you have other ideas or reasons why you think business is like the Easter Bunny. Let me know in the comments below. After we're finished here, I will come back and answer any comments you have. If you have questions, you can certainly post those down below as well. Now, before I wrap up today's video, I do want to share a couple of exciting things with you. First of all, number one is that I was honored to be the guest on the Familypreneur podcast with Meg Brunson. The episode released today, and it happens to be her 100th episode. And for a podcaster, reaching that milestone of 100 is really a big deal. So help me to help her celebrate. I will pop the link down below of where you can listen to that interview. We had such a fun time talking all about raising young creators. And yesterday on the podcast, episode number 209, we talked about repurposing. What is repurposing? If you've heard the word being tossed around online, you maybe know what it is in relation to repurposing furniture, for instance. Find out what repurposing is and how it can help your business. I'll pop the link, of course, for that episode down below as well. And tomorrow, if you are a subscriber of the podcast, I have a bonus episode coming out for you all about how to, let me see if I can read my notes here. Talking about some of the hidden assets you may be overlooking in your business. Again, it was an interview with Kim White of the My Sexy Business team. She interviewed me to ask about assets that so many business owners often overlook. And when you find out what they are and how quickly we can then repurpose them once you know what that is, life, my friends, as you know it, is going to be such an incredible experience for you because you'll be able to basically multiply yourself. Hey, Kim, so good to see you here. And the last thing I wanted to share before I wrap up today is that I've created a brand new freebie for you. If you're interested in repurposing your content, like your videos, this is something I like to refer to as multiplying your message. And it's something that I've only taught my paying students up until now, but because I've gotten so many requests and so many questions about how we're able to be on so many platforms and how we're able to have so much content when I really don't work all that much. If you want to grab a copy of that for yourself, all you have to do is head over to yongpratt.com/multiply, and that is there for you free, my friends, because once you learn to multiply your message and understand how you can do it far quicker and easier than you thought possible, things for you will completely change. Once I discovered this principle about 3 years ago, I could not believe how much easier everything got and how much more joyful even doing the everyday things in business became because I was able to automate and repurpose by multiplying my message. So again, you can grab that at yongpratt.com/multiply as my gift to you. Okay, my friends, I would love to know if you have other ideas on how business is like the Easter Bunny. Let me quickly recap for you 3 reasons why I believe business is like the Easter Bunny. Number 1 is even the craziest ideas that you have or that you dream up can become the most popular, just like the Easter Bunny. Sometimes, or oftentimes, as business owners, we have to develop a childlike sense of wonder and belief in ourselves and beliefs in things that haven't even happened yet, much like we teach our kids to believe in things like the Easter Bunny when they are little. And number 3, the Easter Bunny's visit is always cause for celebration, and that celebration happens on a routine basis over and over and over again, so we don't always have to reinvent the wheel in our businesses. Okay, my friends, I wish you an amazing rest of your Wednesday. I will pop all the links below for the guest spots that I appeared on this week, as well as a link to yesterday's podcast episode. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast to get tomorrow's bonus episode as well. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next time. Cheers.